Hi everyone, today we will start with the class. The story that you have, it's called Las Profesiones de los Mayas, that means Mayans professions, okay? The first question is saying, ¿Dónde vivieron los mayas? That means, where do the Mayas live, okay? Um, Number two, ¿qué profesiones tuvieron? What professions do they have? Number three, ¿qué comieron? What do they eat? Número 4. ¿Qué jugaron los atletas mayas? What do they play? Número 5. ¿Cuál fue un invento importante de los mayas? Which was an important invent of Mayans? You have to respond in Spanish. How are you going to respond in Spanish? Because the answers are in the reading comprehension test. I'm going to read it, explain it, so you can use it to complete the answers. La civilización maya fue muy avanzada. The Mayan civilization was very advanced. Los historiadores y los arqueólogos dicen que los mayas vivieron más de 6 siglos entre México y Honduras. So in the first part you have the answer. ¿Dónde vivieron los mayas? The response is entre México y Honduras, because remember that the question was where do they live? And here say the historians and the archaeologists said that the Mayans live more than 6 centuries between Mexico and Honduras. So the first answer is entre México y Honduras. Let's continue. Los mayas fueron matemáticos y astrónomos. So you have here the answer of the question number 2. The question number 2 said, what professions do they have? Here you have, los mayas fueron, the mayas were mathematics and astronomers. So what is the answer in Spanish? Los mayas fueron matemáticos y astrónomos. Okay? Por eso inventaron un calendario. That's why they create a calendar. So this is the answer to the question 5. The calendario, the calendar, because in the question 5, it say what was a very important invent that they create. And one of the invention was the calendar. So the number 5 answer is un calendario, a calendar. Muy bien. También fueron escritores. Escribieron con un sistema de jeroglíficos. Also, they were writers. They wrote with a hieroglyphic system. Los mayas también fueron arquitectos, ingenieros, escultores y pintores. Oh, the Mayas also were architects, engineers, sculptors, and painters. Oh, good. So this is also part of the answer number 2, right? ¿Qué profesiones tuvieron? What professions do they have? So in the number 2, the professions are the ones that are in yellow. Historiadores, arqueólogos, matemáticos, astrónomos, escritores, arquitectos, ingenieros, escultores, pintores, granjeros, atletas y bailarines. So for the number 2, make sure that you write all the yellow words because all of the yellow words are professions except hieroglyphic. This is not a profession, but the other ones that are in yellow are professions. So this is the answer for the number 2. So number 3, ¿qué comieron? So we are talking about the food. We are going to find something related with the food, okay? Construyeron grandes observatorios, templos y pirámides que todavía existen. They built big observatories, temples, and pyramids that are now existing. Y no olviden and don't forget que los mayas también fueron granjeros, atletas y bailarines. And don't forget that the Mayans were also farmers, athletes, and dancers. Los granjeros de farmers cultivaron El maíz para la comida. They cultivate the corn for the food. So the number three, ¿qué comieron? What do they eat? The response is el maíz. El maíz, because el maíz means corn, and that was the main product that they eat. So the number three, the response is el maíz. Number four, ¿qué jugaron los atletas mayas? What do they play? Okay. En las ceremonias, in the ceremonies, los atletas, the athletes, practice juegos de pelota. Oh, so this is juego de pelota. It's ball game. So the number four was juegos de pelota. The response is juegos de pelota because that was the game that they practiced. So for the number four, you should write juegos de pelota. And the number five, I already told you that the inventor, they created el calendario, the calendar. Calendario para la número 5 for the number 5. Let's continue. Professions, profesiones. The first picture, it's called historiador. Basically, this person is in charge of collect information about the past, study the history of the country, of a city. This is the main function of a historiador. Then we have arqueológico, arqueólogo. Arqueólogo is the person that is in charge of finding bones about different animals that existed in the world. Then we have number three, granjero. Granjero is the person that is in charge of a farm and of the animals. Astrónomo. Astrónomo is in charge of checking the stars. He always has a telescope so he can see everything that is happening in the universe. Number four, ingeniero. Ingeniero is in charge of building buildings or following construction plans. Next one is escritor. Escritor is the person who is in charge of writing poems, books, novels. Then we have atleta. Atleta is the athlete. That person can run in a marathon. Then we have bailarina. Bailarina is the person who dance or perform dances. Next one is matemático. Matemático is a profession where you need to know a lot of math so you can do different problems to solve in companies. Next one, unscramble the syllables to make the profession use the banco de palabras. So the professions that I already explained you are here. You have two new professions, comerciante, that is businessman or something like that, and veterinario, that is the vet. So you have to see that you have the syllables to, his, door, the. So you have to unscramble the syllables so you can make one profession. For example, the number one, the correct answer is historiadora, because you have here historiadora. If you unscramble these syllables, then you will find this word that is historiadora. You're going to do exactly the same thing for the rest. For this part, you have the professions here, and then you have a little line under the name of each profession. I'm gonna say the number and I'm gonna say the word. And if you hear that I say this word for the number one, you're going to write the number one on the line. Okay? So I will start. Remember the numbers. Uno is one, dos is two, tres is three, cuatro is four, cinco is five, six is seis. So, número uno, maestra. Número dos, médico. Número tres, bombero. Número 4, periodista. Número 5, policía. Número 6, fotógrafa. Okay. You already know all these professions. The new professions that you have here only are the periodista, that is the journalist, and the fotógrafa, which is the photographer. The other ones, you should know them. So we have to make sentences. How can we make sentences? We have to copy exactly the same thing that we have here, the starter sentence. We just have to fill the lines here. For example, me gustaría ser, I would like to be, and then you have to choose the first profession, bombero, that is the firefighter, right? And then you have to write the reason. Porque es un trabajo, because it's a job, and then you have to pick one of these according to your interest. So, for example, if you think that being a firefighter is very interesting, we have to choose the one that is muy interesante. If you think that is interesting, then interesante. If you think that is funny, divertido. If you think that is important, importante. If you think that it's easy, fácil. If you think that is difficult, difícil. So, for example, for me, bombero, being a firefighter is very important. So, I should write on my sentence, me gustaría ser bombero porque es un trabajo muy interesante. And then for the next sentence, you will continue with the second profession that you have here, teacher, right? Maestra. So then you can write, me gustaría ser maestra porque es un trabajo divertido. You are going to make your own sentences with these possibilities. Los números mayas, the Mayan numbers. Los mayas usaron jeroglíficos para escribir los números. The Mayans used hieroglyphics to write numbers. Usaron tres símbolos básicos. They used three basic symbols. El punto, the dot, equal to 1. La raya, the line, that it's equal to 5. La concha, that it's equal to 0. Para los números del 1 al 4 usaron puntos. For the numbers 1 to 4, they used dots. Para los números del 6 al 9 usaron raya y puntos. For the numbers 6 to 9, they used a line and dots. Para el número 10 usaron dos rayas. For the number 10, they used two lines. Para los números del 11 al 14 usaron dos rayas y puntos. For the number 11 to 14, they used two lines and dots. Para los números del 15 al 19 usaron tres rayas y puntos. For the numbers 15 to 19, they used three lines and dots. Para el número 20 usaron un punto y una concha. For the number 20, they used this that is called concha, that is like a circle, y un punto and a dot. Okay? So, as you can see, how can we write numbers? You have here the way that you write the numbers in this picture. So you have here 15. How do we write 15? You are going to check that we are going to write three lines, so we are going to draw three lines. How can we write 23? You're going to see the pictures and then you're going to do it by yourself. If you have any question, please let me know. The Bluecat link is in Schoology. Have a good one.